Changing careers in your 30s and beyond is probably one of the most difficult things that you ever have to do in life. And how do I know this? Well, that's because that's exactly what I'm trying to do right now. And trust me, it's not for the weak. So I'm trying to change careers from a customer service role to a data analyst. And I remember the day that I made a decision to go ahead with this career change. I was very nervous, but very excited at the same time for what was to come. I remember very well telling my wife, look, the next couple of months are going to be a bit rough, and I may not be as present as I try to push forward this career change, so please bear with me. The first few months of this journey was very exciting because I was learning something new each and every single day, things that I never imagined in my wildest dream that I'll be able to do or understand. I was actually writing lines of code, something that I always thought was for computer geeks and nerds. But it didn't take very long for reality to set in. I completely underestimated the challenges of trying to balance a family life and pursuing your goals, and this made it 10 times harder for me. So why is it so difficult to make a career change in your 30s and beyond? Well, here are 5 reasons why. Firstly, when you're trying to break into a new industry, you need to, of course, acquire the knowledge in that industry that you're trying to break into. Let's take me, for example. I'm trying to transition from a customer service role, like I mentioned to you earlier, to a more technical role as a data analyst. And in order for me to do that, I need to acquire a lot of new skills and learn new tools. I need to improve my Excel skills. I need to be proficient in SQL, and I need to learn a programming language like Python and at least one visualization tool like Power BI. That's a lot of learning, and don't forget that I also need to build projects for my portfolio. And then once I've built up these skills and these projects, I need to also start applying for jobs on a regular basis. And if I'm lucky enough to hear back from one of these companies, then I also need to start preparing for job interviews and assessments and so on. So me, as a family man myself, that's currently going through this transition right now. One of the most difficult things about changing careers in your 30s is undoubtedly just finding the time to do the work. So for me, when I started this transition, the best way for me to find time was to wake up outside of the hours that my family operates. So say if I'm doing a late shift, for example, I'll wake up really early in the morning, like 4 a.m. And by the time they wake up, I've already acquired 2 hours of knowledge already. Then knowing that I've already done 2 hours of solid learning already, I can afford to relax and take a nap. And then later in the day when I get the chance again, I might go to the library and learn some more before work. And sometimes if I'm really enjoying what I'm learning, I might take some of that work with me to work to do some more learning during my quiet periods. So for me, one of the most difficult challenges that you ever face when changing careers in your 30s is simply finding the time. Alright, now let's imagine you've managed to find the time to do your studies in order to get yourself job ready. A different kind of problem presents itself, and I've personally experienced this, and if you're not careful, when this happens, this can ruin the most important things in your life. You see, when you're balancing the demands of your current job, your personal responsibilities, social life, and then adding the pursuit of a new career to an already full plate, the weight of these competing priorities can quickly become overwhelming and then pushing you to your limits. And there's only so much stress that the body can endure. What was once an exciting venture can quickly transform into this relentless cycle of exhaustion, and it can happen so fast that you don't see it coming. And this happens because instead of taking your downtime to relax and recharge, you find yourself dedicating every spare moment to studying and preparing for this career change. And initially, the adrenaline rush may make you feel invincible, and that's how I was feeling at the start. But then as time goes on, the constant pressure and the relentless pace begin to take their toll. You start to feel your energy level decline, you start to feel fatigued, and you get this persistent feeling of overwhelmed that you just can't shake off. How did this exciting journey that you just begun start to feel like a never-ending labor, draining you both mentally and physically as well? All of a sudden, you're suffering from burnout. Now, burnout is like a sneaky enemy that slowly drains your energy, your drive, your motivation, and your happiness without you even realizing. And if you leave it too late, it can really mess with your mental health, your relationship, and even your career goals as well. But fear not, because awareness is the first step towards prevention. As you take steps towards a career change in your 30s, you have to remember to also prioritize things such as self-care, for example, exercising, eating healthy, and going for walks. Now, walking is known for having a lot of health benefits, but it's often underestimated. It can improve your mood, reduce stress and anxiety, and it also has a lot of physical benefits. Also, don't try and do it all by yourself. Sometimes seek help from those that have done it. Speak to like-minded people, and that's why I used to go to a lot of meetup events, and it was really helpful just knowing that I wasn't alone, and there's also other people that are going through the same transition as me. And always remember to listen to your body and take regular breaks, and also be realistic about how much time you can dedicate towards this career change. Now, making a career change can be a very risky move. There's no denying that. You're potentially leaving a company that you're very comfortable at. You have a lot of domain knowledge and experience within that industry, and maybe your job is also fairly secure. You can afford to take sick leave when you need it. You qualify for maternity or paternity pay if you ever have a child. A lot of great benefits that you qualify for due to how long you served with that employer. And now you're about to leave all of that behind and step into the unknown. What if something happens to you and you need to take some time off, and of course you want to be paid while you're off sick? What if you're not good enough at your new job and they have to let you go? Or maybe you're good enough but then the company needs to trim their workforce to cut costs. Last in, first out, so they have to let you go. And also, let's not forget, with someone like me, I would most likely have to take a bit of a pay cut, which would definitely impact the quality of life of my family, because my current job pays me more than the salary offering that most entry-level and junior data analyst jobs I've seen advertised are offering at the moment. So this is a very uncomfortable topic around career change that I personally believe is not spoken about nearly enough. But financial obligations can make career change in your 30s a very challenging experience. Recent stats have shown that it will take a candidate between 100 to 200 plus applications before they receive a single job offer, which is absolutely crazy when you come to think about it. And of course, stats are just numbers, but if they're anything to go by, then I should start celebrating right now, because I'm in that territory right now. I've currently applied to a little over 100 jobs with no success in terms of job offers, but I must be close to landing a job now according to these stats. In today's hyper-competitive job market, landing the dream job is like winning the lottery, because the chances of you landing that job is this slim. It takes the average person almost 4 months to land a job, and also only 2% of candidates who apply for a job are selected for an interview. So in a nutshell, if you apply for a job and you're able to even get the opportunity to get to the interview or assessment stage, then you should really pat yourself on the back, because getting to that stage is not an easy thing to do. Gone are the days where all you needed was a CV, a cover letter and a winning smile and you were good. Nowadays, standing out is not enough anymore. You really have to fight and elbow your way to the front. The reason why the competition is so fierce is that there are fewer jobs than there are people to fill them, and now the employers have the upper hand to choose the absolute best candidates for every position. For example, someone like myself who's changing careers into tech without a computer science degree, I'm going up against recent graduates, I'm going up against candidates who have direct experience but maybe they got laid off after the pandemic, and also other career changes as well. So the job market right now is like the Olympics. You have to be very competitive and you have to do something out of the ordinary to land yourself a job. You have to think outside the box, like, okay, everyone is going on LinkedIn and applying for jobs this way, so what can I do that's completely different to everyone else to make myself stand out? Because the traditional way of applying for a job hardly works nowadays. You have to be creative. Dear Alexander, thank you for your application. Unfortunately, on this occasion, other applicants more closely match the role requirements, and therefore we will not be progressing your application any further. We appreciate your interest and wish you success in your future career. This is just one of many rejection emails that I've received since I started applying for data analyst jobs, and bear in mind that these are even the decent companies that had the decency to reply back to me. There are a lot of companies out there that have poured my heart and soul into crafting the perfect CV and cover letter and answered their many questions, and they didn't even respect me enough to send me an automated response to let me know that I was unsuccessful. I was aware that changing career into a new industry, I will receive some rejections here and there, but then when it's actually happening in real time, trust me, it hits differently. The first couple of rejections hurt a bit, but it is to be expected at the end of the day. But then they start to pile up and compound, and it really starts to affect your self-esteem and confidence. And you really start to doubt and question your abilities, whether you're actually good enough for this job role or you're just playing yourself. As time goes on, you start to wonder, what if you never land that job? What if you get stuck in the same place for the foreseeable future? And it's a very lonely place to be when your confidence and self-worth take a hit every single day, but each and every single day you still got to put on a brave face, put on a smile and keep on going. The roller coaster of emotions you experience when you're pursuing a career change in your 30s and beyond can be very exhausting, and I think I've experienced every single emotion you can think of since I started this journey. Pursuing a career change can be a very lonely road, and before you set off on your career change journey, make sure you manage your expectations and understand that this journey will have a lot of ups and downs, but make sure you also celebrate your small wins, no matter how small it may be. You get invited to a job interview but didn't get a job, That's still a big deal because you went from having no experience to a recruiter thinking you might be a good fit, and now you also have some data to try and work on and improve on. Also talk to people and surround yourself with like-minded people, and like I mentioned earlier, also practice self-care. And lastly, why do you want to do this? Have a big reason why you really want this career change and reflect on it every time the going gets tough. One of the most difficult jobs to land right now is a data analyst, and in my next video I'll be talking about why I want to become a data analyst despite the difficulty in getting an opportunity. See you in the next one.